Hello everybody, I'm Ninjo X, the Enlightened Gamer. Welcome to another Enlightened Vlogs. Today, I want to talk to you all about a more recent, more social issue that's raised a lot of controversy. Now, I don't really pay much attention to Twitch. I don't really care for it. For the most part, I find streams incredibly elongated and I find them hard to sit through unless I'm watching somebody I really enjoy. I'm not really into speed runs, so that's what most people use Twitch for. Don't get me wrong, I'm very impressed by speedrunners' physical skills. But for the most part, the stuff that I do on my channel is what I also look for. People that really care about the games, really get into every nook and cranny. That they don't care about the bottom line. They care about the experience. But apparently there's been a rash of female gamers, and I use the term gamer loosely in this sense, that have been using their bodies to plead for attention instead of the games that they're playing. Do I agree with this? I find it very disingenuous. I'll never watch them myself. But just by talking with you all about this, I'm raising awareness and raising attention, because there will be some of you guys who will listen to me and say, oh, I agree. But then there will be a lot more that will listen and say, I want to check it out. Get my first opinion, get my first-hand experience before I make a judgment. And that's fair. That's how publicity works. I'm sorry guys, I have a really itchy face apparently today. On one, there's two very intelligent arguments in place here. One argument says they're not doing any real harm, they're not breaking the law, and they're not breaking the rules that Twitch has in place. So they're not doing anything wrong and they shouldn't be made to stop. That's a very accurate point. On the other hand, are people saying, because of what they're doing, it's making other real girl gamers look bad. That's also a fair point. Now, at least in my culture, in the American culture, we have this idea that our actions don't affect family, race, gender, other people like us, because we're not them. But the sad truth is, they do to an extent. And we are still a very sexist society in a lot of ways. I'm sorry, I'm having problems today. We're still a very sexist society in a lot of ways. For example, if these were male gamers, I got the idea for this particular vlog from an episode of Sachbag's Goods. I'll go on ahead and link to his debate over here because there's more space. Somebody commented that if there was a live stream of Markiplier playing a game in a Speedo, he'd get a lot more views. He'd get a ton of views. And yet, we probably wouldn't make as big a deal out of it, because Markiplier's male. So I'm going to say this. Do I agree with what they're doing? No. I find it incredibly disingenuous. And I think that something should be done where they have to tell people what way they're playing a game. I feel like that should be the case for games in general. I find it incredibly disingenuous whenever I find a video on a game and click on it just to find out that it's a Let's Play made by somebody whose White House like, yes! The way you get this is you got to jump over the thing and get the stuff! No, I don't want to hear your voice all the time. Sometimes I look up a guide because I don't want commentary. Because I want to just see it done and not hear anything. And if you're bad at commentary, odds are you know it. That sounded really, really arrogant. And I'm sorry if I upset somebody, but I find it really disingenuous. I mean, imagine if people did that with films. If you were going to theaters and there was a movie that was titled, it's really hard to come up with an example. A new movie titled Superman. Then you got there and it was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, if you already like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you'd probably enjoy it. But if you were going to find Superman, you'd be probably pretty irate. So something in that sense I do think should be done. But should they be made to stop? I don't think so. An unfortunate truth about freedom is that the snowball effect that right-wing politicians talk about so often is true, at least in that regard. If the internet were to start policing itself more thoroughly, innovative, creative ideas, instead of finding a friendly medium and being presented, would be quashed. And so long as what these ladies are doing is not illegal and is not harmful, at least directly harmful, I don't believe they should be made to stop completely. But, so if they're not allowed to stop, we still have the Ku Klux Klan in areas, and we're not getting in their way. But if they are allowed to continue, then what will happen to the real girl gamers? People like Masay and Nella and Dodger and so many others. We have to balance out the publicity. If we like genuine gaming and real genuine gamers, then we need to seek out the real genuine gamers. To ignore the controversy, to not spread it. And I know that I have done that, in a sense, here. I've spread the controversy, I've shared it with you all. But I'm hoping that you guys will be the enlightened few, and that the word will end with me telling you right now that just because somebody does something that's sexualized or controversial doesn't mean we have to talk about it. On this channel, I try not to talk about the games that I truly loathe. They are very few and far between. Because I'm a positive gamer. Whenever I go in to play a game, I go in with a good attitude, with moderate expectations, not high expectations, almost ever. And I try to, getting closer and closer to the camera, I try to love the game. I don't just try to like a game. That's why whenever I talk about a game, be it on this channel or in a post on somebody else's page, I'll normally say that a game is wonderful when it was really only good. Or that it was okay when it was really bad. Or that it was perfect when it was just really, really good. I tend to give a little bit more credit than they deserve. But for the few games that I actually despise, you probably won't ever hear me talk about them. And that's because the second I open my mouth and I tell you guys about them, that's free publicity, that's free advertising, that's more people that are being made aware of a game. Or a movie, or whatever. Mum's the word, loose lips sink ships. Support real female gamers. Gaming is something that should be shared by everyone. But until such a time comes that happens, that is possible, that there's no longer sexism, that we have equality, and that we all can love the same thing freely, I hope you all will stay enlightened.